Alright everybody, you should be on the back side of your notes worksheet. On the front side we talked about an n-gon being for the number of sides for a polygon with sides greater than 10. So we're going to talk about those special names for polygons that have a sides fewer than 10. These should sound familiar to you. So if it is a 3-sided polygon, it's a triangle. A 4-sided polygon is a quadrilateral. A 5-sided polygon is a pentagon. A 6-sided polygon is a hexagon. A 7-sided polygon is a heptagon. An 8-sided figure is an octagon. A 9-sided figure is a nonagon. A 10-sided figure is a decagon. And a 12-sided figure is a dodecagon. Feel free to pause the video right now if you need some time to copy down those terms. So let's take a look at our second example. It says classify the polygon by the number of sides. Tell whether it's equilateral, equiangular, or regular. So let's take a look at our vocabulary that's up there. Equilateral, if you need to flip your sheet over, that meant we have the sides that are congruent, all sides. We have the term equiangular, that meant all angles are congruent. And regular meant both all sides and angles are congruent. So let's take a look at the figure that we're given. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is an 8-sided figure. So the polygon's name is an octagon. And then let's take a look at the sides. We've got 1/2, 1/1/1/1/1/1/1/. That means all those sides are congruent. Therefore, this polygon is equilateral. But let's look at the angles as well. Each of these angles are marked with only one arc. That means they are each congruent to each other. Therefore, the polygon is also equiangular. Since it's equilateral and equiangular, we can say this octagon is regular. Let's take a look at another example of one of those. It says classify the polygon by the number of sides and tell whether it's a quadrilateral that is equilateral, equiangular, or regular. I already gave this one away. So let's take a look at our number of sides. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and if you were listening to my slip up, I already called this a quadrilateral. But now let's look at the sides for congruencies. Here we have 2 sides that are congruent, but not the other 2. So this is not equilateral. And if we look at our angle marks, this is one set that is congruent to each other, but these angles down here have 2 arcs. That means they are congruent to only each other. So those 2 are congruent, and these 2 are congruent, but not all 4 together. So it is not equiangular. Since it's not equilateral and not equiangular, it is not regular. So this is none of these. Moving on to example 3. It says the head of a bolt is shaped like a regular hexagon. Find the length of the side given the figure. I underlined the word regular because that tells me that this shape is both equiangular and equilateral. I am given two side lengths here. One side is 4x plus 3, and the other side is 5x minus 1. Since this is a regular figure, these two sides are congruent to each other, and that tells us how we're going to set up our equation to solve. We can set 5x minus 1 millimeters equal to 4x plus 3 millimeters and solve for x. So we're going to get the x's on one side. So we're going to subtract 4x. So x minus 1 equals 3. And we're going to get all of our integers on the other side. So we're going to add 1 to get x by itself. So x equals 4. The question was asking us find the length of the side given the figure. So we want to plug that x back into one of these two side lengths to find the length of the side. So 4 times 4 plus 3 is 16 plus 3. So we get 19 millimeters is the side length of the bolt. All right, so let's finish solving our problem by getting the x's on one side. So I'm going to bring 4x to the other side by subtracting 4x. Can cross those off. 5x minus 4x is 1x. So I have x minus 1 equals 3. I need to get x by itself, so I'm going to do the opposite of subtracting 1 by adding 1 to both sides. So x equals 4. My question was asking me to find the length of a side. So I need to take that x equals 4 and plug it in to one of the two expressions that I have. So 4 instead of x, I'm going to put 4 in plus 3 millimeters because that's our label. So 4 times 4 is 16 plus 3 gives me 19. If you chose to do the other equation, you would have 5 times 4, which is 20 minus 1, which also gives you 19. And our last problem says the expressions 4x plus 8 degrees and 5x minus 5 are the measures of two congruent angles in a regular hexagon. Find the measure of each angle. So I can draw the hexagon, and since it says regular, all angles are congruent. That means the measures are equal. So I have my two expressions, and I can set them equal to each other because my figure is regular. So I am going to get x by itself by subtracting 4x. These cross off. 8 equals x minus 5. I'm going to add 5 to both sides. So x equals 13. My question was asking me to find the measure of an angle. So the measure of my angle equals one of my expressions when I substitute 13 degrees in for x. So 4 times 13 is 52, and 52 plus 8 gives me 60 degrees. And degrees is my label here because it's talking about the measure of an angle. This concludes 1.6. Hopefully you have your notes filled out and finished so we can discuss them tomorrow in class. See you tomorrow.